Hi, I'm Jenna, also known as Retro Lemon on Ravelry, and this is episode 4. So last week I had a little bit of a hair devastation. I was very unhappy. And when I went to knitting night that night, my hairdresser walked in. She's like, "You got a haircut." Okay, let's face it, when you get that, it's not a good smile. It's not. You know, they realize it sucks as much as you do. So, got a little choked up about it when I was just like, I don't want to talk about it. And then she offered to fix it. I declined, but when she insisted again, I figured I didn't need to be told twice. So, real quick update on the hair, and then I will still let it go. But see, this is what it's supposed to look like. A nice bob, tuck it behind the ear. So, all was resolved, and I did take her some very nice sock yarn, because I know she won't let me pay her. And then we went out to lunch today, so I'm recording much later today than I normally do. And I do have to say, she is not just a hairdresser. She's a very dear friend of mine. She's my other mother, as I like to call her. And I'm just so thankful she fixed it. And I wasn't going to ask her. I wasn't going to guilt her into it. So, all resolved, and I'm very happy, and I can let it go now. So, on with the show. First up, our finished objects. I have none. Nope. I started a few things, but nothing got finished. I didn't have any works in progress last week. I was, again, making project bags. I've made 15 in the last week. So, no finished objects. I totally skipped over the knit along. Hello, let's backtrack. Knit along. Knit along's going on. Yay, I'm having so much fun. Everybody's entries are amazing. I love them all. Every Chelsea is so cute. So many people have come out with so many different ideas. One girl, instead of hair, put a little pom-pom. I'm like, hello. Cute. She made it a boy. So, here, give Chelsea a little shout out here. Yay! So you have until March 31st, and then I lock the thread, and then I will announce the winners on the first podcast of April. I'm not 100% sure when the 31st falls on this month, so you might have to wait a few days for me to pick the winner, because I want to give everybody a full month. I don't want to be like, no, we're going to cut it short a few days because I want to pick early. I don't want to do that. I want to give everybody a full month. So that's Chelsea. She's the first one. And then we're doing a second knit along, and it's for 2 months. So there's no reason to freak out. There should be plenty of time to do both. But I figure not everybody loves toys. For all of you going, really? I know. I don't know why they don't either, but they don't. And that's perfectly fine. So our 2-month knit along is for the full month of March and April, and they are shawls. You get to pick from 3, and I thought having 3 was a good mix. I figure the Whippoorwill, shawl number 1, is pretty simple, and it has an eyelet row where it's simple. I think it's really simple, really easy for somebody who doesn't want anything too difficult, but for someone that might want to challenge themselves a little more. There's also the Osei shawl, which I am working on, and you will see shortly. And it has a lot of drop stitches, which I was kind of unfamiliar with. I mean, I know how to do them, but I've never done a lot of it. So for me, that was something new, and I wanted to do something new. I like to challenge myself. Sometimes I see a pattern and it's really simple, and it kind of turns me off because it's so simple, because I like to learn something new. And then the third choice, which I also hope to be making within this time with all of you, is the Spring Awakening. I was going to say it's not Spring Thaw, but that's something totally different. The Spring Awakening shawl, which I also hope to do. So, and that has noops. I don't like noops. I like how they look. I just don't like knitting them. So that'll be a challenge for me just because I don't like them. But that pattern is really interesting because I read it over and you start from the outside and work in. So I'm thinking that'll get the noops over really quick because it's along the edge. So I like that. That should work for me, I hope. So that's the knit-alongs. There will be prizes. I'm still waiting to hear from Michelle of Dancy Dog Dye Works what exactly she's going to be giving away color-wise for the yarn giveaway. And then I've decided that I'm going to give away one of my small project bags. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. I think I'd know where I put it. They're like this. This one's mine. I made this over the weekend in my knitting project bag sewing-a-thon. And so I had commented like a couple weeks ago, I had the yarn, I'm like, yeah, it's toast. Well, lots of people thought that was funny, and watching it back, it was. I was so enthusiastic about it because, well, it was toast. So I was looking for black and gray and yellow fabrics or something, and I found this, and it's toast, literally. There are toasters, retro style toasters that say toast on it, and I couldn't resist. And I lined it with some houndstooth, which when I ordered it online, both of them from the same place, and it said 100% cotton because I wanted some houndstooth, keep it kind of retro feeling, and it's a lot thicker than the quilting cotton. It's more of like not quite as stiff as a canvas, but it's a little thicker, kind of canvasy feeling, and I like it because it adds a lot more structure to the bag. So I like that it was an accident, but it worked out well. So I figure I'm hoping to have at least 3, maybe 4 different choices to pick from, so the winner of the bag will get to pick one of my bags. Because I love these, and everyone else does too. Not everyone, but I've had a great response, and thank you to all of you who have wanted a bag. Yay! So, and then I have another prize. I think I'm going to give away a book. But I said it somewhere, so I'll have to try to remember to show you next week. And then for the Shaw Knit Along, I will have some lace weight yarn to give away. I'm still waiting to hear back about a possible candidate to give away. And if not, I have something from my stash that I think people would like, that I'm more than willing to part with. And then another winner will get a bag. They will also get to pick from 3 or 4 different choices. And I'm still thinking about a third prize. I figured, well, that one goes through April, so I got a little ways to go. So we're good. So that's prizes, knit along information. Doing this a little later in the day has me kind of scrambled. Like, oh my goodness. I'm normally editing this time of the day. So, but I had so much fun shopping and having a girls' day. We went out to lunch. And it was fabulous. It was worth being out all day. My dogs really missed me though. So, okay, well, we've done finished objects, which were not, well, this was one of them. One of the bags. Done knit-alongs. Works in progress, because I've got some. Yay! So I was talking about the knit-along, and I am working on, I think it's like Osae's Shaw, and it does not look like much right now. It's just drop stitches, which, I don't know, like, I really like the pictures in the pattern, so I think once it's blocked and everything, that it'll be okay, but right now I'm just like, this is doing nothing for me, and I'm kind of bored. I think is part of my problem. And I am using my Color Shift Yarns Color Bridge, where it'll go from botanical green to like clay orange. And I just started the 4th out of the 8 different colors. So I started with the green, and I'm working my way to the orange. So I'm kind of in this like muddied kind of brown color at the moment. It's kind of weird because the green, at least to me here, I don't know how the camera will pick it up, the green is like green. It's really green, and then it's kind of, it jumps so much to the second color. But from the second, which is here, to the third, and even, let's see here, to the fourth, it just blends so much better. There's such a huge jump from the first to the second color, and I'm kind of concerned about that. I don't know. Hopefully in the end, once it's blocked, I think once it's blocked and it's all stretched, it'll look like it blends a little better, I hope. So that is my first work in progress. I'm so excited because I have more than one. I've been busy because, like I said, I got a little bored with this. I had to start something else. It was just killing me. I mean, sometimes, like I said, it was simple. There's so far, I mean, nothing difficult about the pattern. It's just not keeping me excited to go. So my second work in progress are I'm calling them a little bit grouchy socks. So I am participating in the Dancing Dog Dye Works Socks Knit Along, which will run from March and April, which falls with the Stockinette Zombies Knit Along, which is stripes. So I'm totally double dipping on this. I'm doing stripes out of Dancing Dog Dye Works yarn, and this is called In the Can, which is a nod to Oscar the Grouch, who happens to be my favorite Sesame Street character. Because, okay, he comes across as like a total jerk, but he really has a big heart. He just don't want to admit it. So it's a real pretty green and brown and gray, like a trash can. I'm like, in the can. I'm so amused. Like I said, Dancing Dog Dye Works Twist sock yarn, knit on Knit Picks Harmony US size 2 knitting needles, because I love my double points. And like I said, I always do a little bit on one sock and a little bit on the other, so I never get second sock syndrome. So yes, I am just as far on the other. I am calling these officially halfway done because I have done the heel flat and the turn of the heel. All I have left is gusset, foot, and toe. Yay! And I got this. I started these Friday and this is Wednesday, so I'm booking on these. And for me, like I said, that shawl was like totally boring. This is mindless knitting with the exception of the heel. I don't really have to pay attention, so this is great, like TV watching, in the car. So that's whip number 2, and I actually have a third because once again I will be double dipping in a knit along, this time because I can't participate in my own. But my daughter absolutely loved Monster Mania 3's first shipment, if you can follow me there. So this is Dancing Dog Dye Works Yarn Club Monster Mania round 3. This was the first month, which was January's shipment. Yeah, it had to have been January's shipment. Called Monster of Love. And my daughter wanted a Chelsea with it. So this will go in Diane of Knitables March Monster Madness knit along, and also in the Stockinette Zombie Stripes knit along. I'm like, yay! I don't usually participate in too many knit alongs, just for the sheer fact I don't have time. And time has been really crunched for me lately, and I've just been determined to get it in. I'm like, I really want to do these. There are patterns that I definitely want to do, and like I'm doing my own, you know, running my own knit-alongs, and then at some point I'm planning on releasing a pattern this month. I don't even know what it's going to be yet, but I really wanted to just have some fun knitting time. So this is the body. I just have arms, legs, and hair to get done. So I consider this halfway done too, because the body's all done. Just some limbs, appendages need to be done. So I should have an FO next week. I would think. You would hope. With 3 going, something's got to get done. Let's hope. Let's see, next. Let's move on to enabling. Why not? Okay, I will admit my yarn diet was an epic fail. I don't even have, I mean, I have an excuse. Is it good enough? I don't know. So I was watching Diane of Knittable's podcast, because this week I was all about trying to catch up. I am so behind on podcasts. I love to watch other podcasts. They definitely inspire me and enable me to no end. But I just don't always have time to watch them. I don't do a lot of TV watching. I don't just get a lot of time. So while I was sewing and knitting all week, I was trying to catch up. And I came across Diane's Knittable podcast, and she was talking about the 3 Irish Girls yarn that benefits the Share Foundation, which is for parents who have lost babies, have had miscarriages, and being a mom of 2 NICU babies. My boys were born very early, and we spent 5 weeks in the NICU. And I have here, because I thought, well, Amy, J Knitma of Stockinette Zombies, was showing her baby sock. I have a baby hat. And I have a little preemie diaper, which literally the diaper folded in half fits in the palm of my hand. And those were too big for my boys when they were first born. But I have a hat. I did find the little hat. We actually got several hats while we were there. They always had lots of hats for us. But these were my favorite. I had one for each boy. So I figured the other one looks exactly like it. So I just brought one out. So when I saw the yarn for the 3 Irish Girls, I was all over it. I'll admit it. I loved it. Which will also belong in the charity section. Well, so it'll be brought up again. So I broke down and I bought one in the worsted weight and one in the sock yarn weight, and it was downhill from there. I gotta like hang my head in shame a little because it was an epic fail. So then I had seen, like right after I had announced Yarn Diet, like I think that day, later I get online and I see the Stockinette Zombies have pre-orders for their sock yarn that's stripes, that I'm like, crap, I love zombie related yarny things. Love them. So I'm like, shoot. And I even commented, I'm like, right after I announced Yarn Diet. So then the dyer, which is GI Punk Jen, I think that's right. I'll correct it in the note at the bottom here if I'm wrong, was so kind enough to be like, I will dye you one and hold it until after Lent. And I was like, awesome. I'm like, how nice, because she could have just been like, yeah, tough cookies. Sucks to be you. But she didn't. She was super nice and offered to dye one up and then wait to be paid for it. I'm like, wow. That's like a while down the road, like over a month away. So then once I bought the 3 Irish Girls yarn, I felt kind of guilty, like, well, I had to buy that because you only have till March 15th. So I'm like, I'm not making this other chick wait for her money. I figured that's rude. So I did get it, and I paid for it early. I let her know. I said, my yarn diet was an epic fail. I'll just pay for it when it's ready. So this is Worse Than a Zombie. And it is from 716 Knit, which she has a shop, etsy.com/716knit. And it is self-striping. So it will be this lovely green and black sock yarn, which will definitely be socks. I won't make anything but socks with it because I love striped socks. And then I got a cute little button because I love buttons, people. I love them. I need to decide which knitting bag I'm going to defile with buttons because they're going to be all over it. I have my Ravelry buttons. I ordered me a Wolf Farms What the Duck button. I so can't wait for that. And I'll have a Stockinette Zombie button. And someday I'm going to order buttons, but I don't know what I want them to say yet. I need some catchy slogans. Maybe that'll be a contest at some point down the road when I'm ready to order buttons, and we'll have to like come up with a few different things for the buttons. Because I love that Wolf Farms has like all their different little sayings, like Hatchin' It and what's the other one? Oh, it's not coming to me, but I love the What the Dog. Squeal Like a Pig. Yeah, that's another one from Wolf Farms. Squeal Like a Pig. I love those ladies. I absolutely love Dawn and Nicole. I think they are so fun to watch, which I loved seeing them in their pajamas this week. Loved it. And then I like totally busted a gut when I then, right after I watched Wolf Farms, watched Steve of Dramatic Knits because I adore him and Callie too. And he admits he podcasts in his pajama pants. So, podcast viewers, I will admit, I too podcast in my pajama pants. Hopefully you can see that. I got on my Moons and Stars jammy pants today. Yay! I love it. I was like, it's all about comfort for me. Especially, I podcast on Wednesdays. And Wednesday is like my down day for the week. It's the day where I really have time to sit here and do this and edit and do show notes. And it's in the middle of the week because the beginning of the week's crazy, the end of the week's crazy. So as I sit here for the, 45 minutes to an hour or so that I'm here in front of you, I like to be comfy, and I hope you're comfy too. So, watch in your pajama pants. I love it. So, okay, back to the enabling because I'll talk probably forever. So, okay, there's my 716 Worse Than a Zombie. And then I had been waiting for this from Jimmy Bean's Wool. I love that if they are out of what you want, you can order it and they'll just ship it to you as soon as it comes in. So I had gotten some Lorna Lace's Shepherd Wurst in Humboldt, which is also known as color 410. And I love it. It looked more gray on their website, which I also know that, you know, it's hand-dyed yarn, so it'll always vary a little, but it is like a light lavender kind of gray and goes to a beautiful greens, like sea greens and teals, and it is so soft, and I love the smell of Lorna's laces. I'm just like, I love it. I don't know what they use for their wool. I mean, I imagine it's some sort of wash so it doesn't stink like vinegar, but it is so good. I love it. I took it out of the package and probably stood there and sniffed it for way too long. And then I had done a order. Dancing Dog Dye Works had a zombie kit for Amy, aka J Nitma, her little zombie the podcaster monster. And I love the zombie dog. I got a skein of this a year or so ago when Michelle of Dancing Dog Dye Works first premiered it. I think I was like one of the first ones to get my hands on some. Back before Dancing Dog Dye Works was what it is today in its popularity. I'm like, it's so funny because everyone's like, how'd you get such a huge Dancing Dog dye work stash? I'm like, I've been buying from the beginning, people. I bought when the yarn used to sit in the shop for days, and now it's not even there minutes. So, I got Zombie Dog. I think this is ghoulish green. There's a little red. I don't know if it'll actually be a zombie, but I love it, and I had a chance to get it, and I had to jump on it. I could not leave it there. And then I was so excited because in the same box, and I didn't know it was coming, because I thought it would be shipped separate, which I'm not complaining, is my Dancing Dog Dye Works Maisie and Bella, the Knittables colorway. It is so pretty. I love it. I'm not a very big pink fan. Pink and blue are my two least favorite colors. But I love pink with black. Especially like pink with black and white. I'm so jealous of Diane of Knittables. Good and Plenty, hand spun. I'm like, I so need to learn how to spin. No, I don't. I really don't. I do have a drop spindle and I started with it and it was a disaster. My yarn was so thick and thin and the twist had to have been way just twisted too much. So I got it in a worsted weight because I love worsted weight. And just because I could, I also got it in a sock yarn. So, because my daughter loves pink, her favorite color, and she loves pink and black, pink and brown. So I don't know if she'll actually get any of this, but I liked it and I figured if I ended up not loving it, I could always make something for her because she would love it. And then on my shopping excursion today with my dear friend and hairdresser, no more, because I promised I wouldn't get any more bad haircuts. But I did get the name of somebody who hopefully will be good. So while we were out today, we went to Joanns, and I don't get to Joanns very often. I don't have one that's overly close. So it's kind of boring stuff. I don't have any more hand-dyed. But I have some of this Bernat denim style. And I have it in a color, and I thought, oh, the other day I have this, but I'd really like a white to go with it. So I found at Joann's they had a creamy white. It's called Canvas. So I picked this up for a project. Like I said, yarn dye epic fail. Although the Dancing Dog Dye Works yarn and the Lord's Laces was ordered before it happened. So technically that doesn't count. And then I saw this because you all hear me say I love green and orange, and I found this Lion Brand tweed stripes in the Rainforest colorway, and it sure is green and orange. So it's gonna stripe, and it's like, I don't know, it says tweed. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think tweed, I think that it has little flecks of pilliness in it. You know, like the little nubbers, and it's white and grays, and to me this is just like a twist stripe. I don't think of this as a tweed, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong. But any other tweed that I've ever bought has the little, I always want to pick them off. So they always look like little fuzzies. But this is just twisted. It looked, you know, like you see with hand spun yarns, it has like a twist, but it was green and orange, and I have a pattern in my brain that I need to get down on paper, and I think this would work. And I bought two only because there's not a whole lot of yardage. It is a bulky yarn. It is 3 ounces, and you get 144 yards. So I thought, well, if I cut it close, I'm like, what if I make a critter or something, and I don't have enough for arms? That would be tragic. And since I don't have a Joann's close, I can't just go grab one. And my luck, I mean, the chances of getting the same dye lot, because who knows when I'm actually going to get to the pattern. But it's future pattern yarn, I hope. Maybe. We'll see. I change my mind a lot. I buy a lot of stuff with patterns in mind that I want to make, or just that I want to knit. And then I go, I don't want to make that pattern anymore, or I don't like that color anymore. Sometimes you go, what was I thinking? Why did I buy that? And because I'm so into gray and yellow, I got some Lion Brand sockies in the, what's it got a color name? Lemon Drop and Rock Candy colorways, because I love these together. I think these are pretty together. I was thinking I should do some socks, and I could do 2 pairs of socks because they make a pair each. I can do one with like the gray and then do the yellow for the toe and the heel and make a yellow pair with gray for the toe and the heel. How cute would that be? Because there's like yellow in this and there's gray in this, and I love them together. So that might be what I do, because I really kind of want to try the whole afterthought heel thing. And I would like to do it with my striped sock yarn. But the problem with that is the striped sock yarn I have is kind of pricey. It's special hand-dyed yarn, stuff I got on Etsy. Or it's my Felici sock yarn that I really like because it's really soft. And if I end up hating the socks, if I don't like the fit, I really don't want to use yarn that I'll be upset that I ruined it with. So I thought these would be, making a pair with these would be really fun. I can try something new. And coupon commotion is going on this week at Joanns. So if you don't get the flyers or the emails, you need to if you go to Joanns. And if you get both, you can use both. Print off your internet coupons, take your flyer into, and you can use them all. It's awesome. So I did. They were $9.99 each, and I got them 40% off, so that made them $6. $6 for a pair of hand knit socks isn't bad. So that's what those will probably be. I want to try something new. Yay! Love new things. And that's my enabling, and I feel like it was an awful lot for someone who's supposed to be on a yarn diet. But like I said, the Lorna's Laces, the Dancing Dog Dye Works was all bought a while ago. It was just a waiting process with that. So, yay for yarn. I'm like so happy. I'm like, I want to wind it all up. I'm one of those naughty knitters that I wind it beforehand. I don't care if it stretches it. I'll pay for it later. Because I like to sit down and have it all done at once. I kind of get in a rhythm. You just wind your yarn and then it's ready to go. I don't like to have to stop and wind it. The arms of this chair need to be just a smidge wider because I got stuff sitting here. So I have a book review and 3 magazine reviews this week. My first book review, like I said, I absolutely adore Steve and Callie of Dramatic Knits, and Steve had shown this book, Knits Men Want, and it is by Bruce Weinstein, photography by Jared Flood, and I love watching Steve because I love a man's point of view about knitted stuff, especially like for men. I find that just amazing. I love to hear him talk about it. So when he was talking about how much he loved this book, I was like on Amazon, like as soon as I was done watching the podcast, because my favorite person to make stuff for is my husband. And there's not much. He's like, I don't want toys, although I did knit him a couple zombies. And I've made him hats and I've made him socks, and the socks he's like, they're okay. He doesn't get real excited. But I've wanted to make him a sweater for a while, and I don't know, any of the patterns he's like, whatever. Nothing has excited him. So I took Steve's opinion on the book to heart, and I was like, okay, he said this was an awesome book. Men will love it. He gave it a thumbs up. Well, I don't know if he necessarily gave it a thumbs up, but I gave it a thumbs up because my husband loved like every pattern in the book. He like flipped through it and he's like, oh, I want this and I want that. And the only thing he really didn't like, and Steve had talked about this, was this hat. The watch cap. Because the band around the base is so wide and it is bulky in the back. And my husband was like, no. Don't really like that. He likes the other hats that I actually crocheted him. Hats. So he kind of was actually torn between 2 patterns. I was hoping for one pattern. Out of all this, I'm like, if I get one pattern that he likes, it'll be worth every penny, because like I said before, I do not pay full price for my books. Not that I don't think the books are worth it, but I can buy more books if I get them at a bargain. So it was 60% off on Amazon. I cannot guarantee it would still be that today because they fluctuate. But he was kind of torn between the raglan sleeved Henley. Hopefully I'm getting that on camera because I can't see myself. And the hooded sweatshirt. So I told him, I was like, well, you're going to have to pick one because I am not a sweater knitter. I do not like knitting sweaters. It is not my cup of tea, but I want to make him something that I know he'll wear. So he did pick the Henley. Got a thumbs up from him. So I'm really excited. I don't plan on starting it right away, but my goal is to have it done by the beginning of fall when it's cool enough here to wear it. So he did. He liked pretty much everything in this, and the only thing he really didn't care for was the baseball jersey. And again, it, like Steve had pointed out, showed pictures, because I don't want to bore you with the same stuff, where the sleeve and the front meet, where it all joins. It's just weird. It's weird looking, but he did. He loved every single pattern, just about, well, every single pattern but 2. So, out of 10 patterns, that's not bad. I was pleased. It was worth the money. Then, for my first magazine review, because I get a subscription to this, and the only reason I got a subscription to this is because I couldn't find it in my area. And I was at the store the other day and I saw it, so I can let my subscription cancel. It is Your Knitting Life. It used to be Knitting Today. Now, I used to really like the Crochet Today magazine, and I think after Brett Barra left as editor, kind of went downhill for me, and I let my subscription expire. And the only reason I signed up for a subscription on this, or renewed my subscription, I should say, is because there's a Afghan, I'm trying to find it, there it is, an Afghan with monkeys. I have a son who likes monkeys, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss out on any squares, because like I said, I don't get the magazine in my area, and I didn't want to miss out. So now this is the last one with the monkey square, so I'm good. There's not really, honestly, any patterns that do anything for me in this. There is a lot of kid stuff. That's my problem. There's a lot of baby stuff. I mean, that's the thing I find problems with spring magazines in general, is the baby stuff. I don't want to knit a ton of baby stuff. I don't have babies to knit for. My kids aren't babies anymore. My friends don't have babies. They either have chosen not to have children, or their children are my children's age or older. I'm just not loving it. And then there is a fish hat in here that my friend that I went out with today is knitting. And it is cute, but I just think there's a fish hat on Ravelry that has been in my queue forever, and I still haven't made it, so I don't see myself making this one. Although hers is turning out really cute. She's making it for her husband, who is a fisherman. And this one, it has like scales. It's definitely not quite as plain as the one on Ravelry. So to each their own. It is cute. I'm just really not loving it. I always like the articles. I will say, like, the articles in the beginning of the magazine are cute. But as a whole, I'm just not loving it. There's a simple shawl in here. There's some sweaters. some bunny stuff for Easter. I'm not wowed. I will let my subscription expire now that I have all my monkeys. And then I also got Vogue Knitting because I will be honest, I buy this magazine whether I like the patterns or not because I love the articles. Well, that's half the reason. I joke with people that Vogue Knitting is like my equivalent to Men's Playboy. I say I buy it for the articles, which I do read. I buy it for the pictures. I think the pictures are always stunning. I love Vogue magazine. I grew up just reading Vogue cover to cover and just staring at the pictures and loving everything. And this, you know, once again, it's an issue I seem to have with spring magazines because nothing like jumps out at me as an, oh my god, I have to make this right now kind of thing. I did like this, the Missoni influence, because I absolutely love the Missoni stuff they had at Target that I did not get anything of because them crazy people went and bought it all and put it on eBay. So I won't do these colors. I'm not a fan of blue. I'm thinking yellow. I want like yellow and green and maybe white. I just might replace the blue with yellow. That could be a very good possibility, but I'm digging it. I like that a lot. That'll go into the queue. The only problem is a lot of spring and summer stuff, you know, you're supposed to knit it in cotton and lightweight. I don't like knitting with cotton. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't like it. Yuck. And then there's this shawl I'm kind of on the fence about because I like it from the back. But once I got on Vogue's website and I was looking at it, I don't like the front. I don't like the way it... I don't like it. And I did like this little tank. But this just seems like it's been done before. Maybe it's just me. It's just simple. I wouldn't make it in that color. I want something bright. And I really like, but I don't know if I can pull it off. I wish I knew someone to make it for, because this just seems like one that you can't be really curvy and pull off. And I wouldn't be like the model and not wear a bra or anything with it. I would have to wear a tank or something, because the whole back is lace. I'm like, really? It's beautiful, but it doesn't seem practical. But I love it. I love the front. Is that? And I love the color. I went to Kohl's today, and everything was like this corally orange color, and everything was yellow and gray. I'm like, holy cannoli, I'm actually on trend for once. I'm like, normally I march to the beat of my own drum, and I'm like, everything's gray and yellow. And then I got at Joanns, and I'm like, holy cannoli, it was a magazine that was $10. Not that it should surprise me, but it does sometimes, because I never looked at the price. Was Knit Simple, Knits Plus. Yay for us thick girls. I'm a little on the thick side, I can't deny it. I ain't ashamed. We come in all sizes. But I love this. There's 50 patterns. So 50 patterns for $10, you can't beat that. Not at all. I mean, it was 10% off because Joannes had all their magazines. So it was I got it for $8.99 instead of $9.99. But I thought this was cute. I might knit something like this. Not that I'd wear it out in public, but to wear in the evenings and around the house. I love that. I would do bright colors. That reminds me of toast. And there was another one that I loved. I mean, I like a lot of the patterns in this. I wouldn't have bought this if I wouldn't have liked several of the patterns. It's not like Vogue that I'd buy even if I hated every single pattern, which I realize that's a little irrational, but it's the one treat I give myself once every, what, it comes out every 3 months or something like that. It doesn't something like that. It doesn't come out as often. And then I like this. It's just a nice chunky cardigan. And not being a fan of like blues, I mean, I guess it's more towards an aqua, but I like this. I even like the color. Pretty. Love it. And then there was another one. Hopefully I can find it. I mean, there's 50 patterns in here. That's like packed. Because, you know, I'm sorry. There's nothing I hate more than finding a pattern I really like and it doesn't go to my size. I'm not that big of a girl. It's like the Shalom. I so wanted to knit the Shalom. And I go and I click on it and it's like size small and medium. I'm like, really? What a disappointment. And then I love this one. And I love the yellow. I would want to make this exactly as it is. I think that is adorable. Absolutely adorable. I love the whole little ensemble. So those are my 3 favorites. There are some that are made with these really weird fuzzy yarns and I'm like, what in the world were you thinking? Like, okay, this one, I'm sorry. I don't like it. Hopefully somebody does. I mean, someone had to have liked it enough to knit it. Or design it, I mean. You don't have to like it just because you knit. But it's like fuzzy and it has these weird long things that hang down that I'm not sure where those are supposed to go. I don't like it. But otherwise, thumbs up. I love it. Yay! So those are my reviews. And then I have been on the hunt for a new knitting bag. And I'm not talking like little project bags. I'm talking like a big honking knitting bag that can also be a purse. Because I like to lug it all around. I like to have it all with me. I have to have something on me at all times. And that's the one thing I'll say about it used to be Knitting Today, it's now Your Knitting Life, is in the very back of the magazine, they have like designers and stuff, like people you've heard of. Most of the time. I've heard of most of them. There might be 1 or 2 I hadn't. But it's like in your knitting bag and they show you what's in their knitting bag and stuff. I love that. So I had bought a Namaste Zuma purse / knitting bag. And I love this. I will admit, I will love it. It has not held up. The quality is not what I expected, especially for the price. I bought it at a local yarn shop and it was like $70 or $75. They're not cheap. And it was a splurge for me. I don't just buy one on a whim. It was a big, I've had it for like a year and you probably can't see the bag. I clean it all the time, but it gets used. I won't deny it gets used. And since this started happening, I don't care anymore. I used to take such pristine care of it and all along the piping, it started to chip off. And that's when I was like, well, the heck with it. If it's going to start falling apart, I'm going to abuse it. And I have. You know, I used to take such good care of it. It was like, oh, it was my nice bag. So then I've been on the hunt. I need something that will fit everything that's in here in it. You know, and there's like the one knitting bag. I can't think of what it's called. It's like $90 and it's supposed to be the knitting bag and that was specially made with knitting in mind and it's, I can't even remember what it's called. But anyways, it doesn't zip close. I can't put a wallet in there and not worry about it falling out. I don't worry about my knitting falling out as much as like my keys and my phone and stuff like that. Now the Namaste bag has magnets, keeps it closed. I love that. Opens easy. So while I was at Kohl's today, I was like, oh my god, I must have this bag. Yep, people. It's a Dana Buckman purse. And it is huge. And it was half off. I would never pay full price for this purse. Not that it's not worth it. I'm cheap. But look at this. The stuffing's still in it. There's a zipper part where you can put personal stuff, and then look at all that room. Look at that. I mean, it's just, it is pockets galore. I'm like, I could fit 2 separate projects in there and keep them from getting tangled. Because I was like all excited. I went and I picked it up, and it has magnetic snaps, so it will stay closed. I was looking at it. It was not in the purse department. It was like in the Dana Buckman clothing department. And there was like a rack of purses, like a little display. And I saw it because I'm going from green to orange. And I was like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. And I picked it up, and then I flipped the tag over and went, oh, not that gorgeous. And then my friend's like, it's 50% off. Hello. Sale. And it's bigger, and it costs less than my Namaste bag. I don't know if it'll hold up as good. It might hold up better. I'm not sure. But for the price, I was willing to take the chance because I have been holding out on finding a replacement. I figured when it all started to chip off months ago, I thought, well, it has to last a year. To me, that was reasonable. It had to last a year. And then I would look into replacing it with something else. I wanted to just buy another one exactly like it, but then I was going to be worried that I was going to have the same problems. And I thought, it's not worth it to me. I'd rather try something new. And this thing is huge. I love big bags. I'm like, this will be going to knitting with me every week. I'm like, I think I can fit a sweater in here. So, like I said, I got it from Kohl's. They had it left in orange and in black. They might have had other colors, but it was 50% off today. Kohl's has crazy sales, and they change constantly. So, I can't guarantee it'll still be there. That all Kohl's have the same. But I had to share because I was so excited because my Zuma was breaking my heart. So, I guess I probably should have went under enabling. But then again, I was doing book reviews, so it kind of goes with recommendations. That works, right? So, last but not least, I'm going to talk about this week is charity. Like I said, I had mentioned that 3 Irish Girls was doing a special colorway to benefit the SHARE organization. And I wanted to give you a little more information on that because being a NICU mom and spending 5 weeks in there were the longest 5 weeks of my life. And my one son almost didn't make it. And that was hard. That was hard going through that. And yet we were fortunate. We were some of the fortunate ones that got to come home. And we had made friends with people there. And one good friend that I heard, we would write back and forth because we didn't end up living anywhere close to each other. Our babies just ended up at the same hospital. And we wrote back and forth for a while, and then I didn't hear anything anymore. So that makes me fear the worst that her daughter didn't make it. So, you know, I didn't want to intrude and write a note and be like, what's going on? And I kind of felt like that was, in a way, her way of letting me know when the correspondence stopped. So I think about her little girl often. We had pictures on our refrigerator of her for years. And so the fact that 3 Irish Girls is doing this yarn called You Are My Sunshine. It says this new colorway, You Are My Sunshine, is in honor of a longtime customer and friend who lost her beloved baby, Charlie. It symbolizes the storm of emotions felt by families who are impacted by loss of a baby with deep grays, violets, greens, browns that are chased with a glimpse of sunshine and the return of bluer skies. The colorway is available through March 15th, and 20% of the sales price will be donated to SHARE, a nonprofit organization that provides support and resources for families who have lost a baby. So, like I said, I bought 2 skeins because it was important to me to help out. And I think the yarn is beautiful. I'll try to scroll down. I got a hair on my screen so you can see it because I think it is gorgeous. I'm not even a real blue or purple fan. Let's see, try to get that on there. But I'm very excited to get it. I think it is supposed to ship in April. I'm looking. Dyed to order. Says, because of the special nature of this colorway, it may take a little bit longer than usual to finish all skeins of You Are My Sunshine. We estimate that we will begin shipping the colorway in early April, but times could vary based on demand, availability of yarn, and other factors beyond our control. So like I said, 3 Irish Girls, I will link to this in my show notes, and I will also be participating in the Remembering Remy knit along, where T.B. McCarthy on Ravelry had a friend who lost her baby Remy after 95 days and is collecting 95 preemie hats for the NICU in New York. So I hope others of you who maybe have been in a similar situation as myself or Remy's mom, or being the friend like T.B. McCarthy, and, you know, just have a time. Preemie hats, I mean, look at this, people. It's little. I mean, it fits on my fingertips. This was actually so big, I think we flipped it up, if I remember correctly. We have pictures, and I believe we had to flip it up a little. So I'm sure there are tons and tons of free preemie hats all over the web for all different weights of yarn. So that is my charity that I will be doing, is making one, sending it their way. And I think I'm also going to make one for the NICU where my boys were, if not two, one, you know, in honor of each of my boys, since I had 2 there. And we got tons of hats. I mean, we probably left with a half a dozen hats for each boy. So, and booties. The hospital they were at also had booties. So, that's what I will be doing. If you like the yarn or you want to support the Share organization, hop over to the Irish Girls, 3 Irish Girls website. You get to pick the yarn base, which I love. I got a worsted one and a sock yarn for that purpose because I like worsted weight. If I had to pick just one, I would have went with that, but I decided to splurge and get 2 because I feel the cause is important. I hope some of you do too. So I think that's about it for me this week. Had a lot of yarn to enable, magazines, all kinds of good stuff, and hopefully next week I will have some FOs. So I hope all of you join in to the knit-alongs going along. There's the Chelsea the Chatterbox knit-along and the Shaw knit-along where you get to pick from 3. I'm going to pick what kind of techniques you'd like to do. So, and don't forget you can double dip into Diane of Knitables Knit-Along for her March Monster Madness. And if you do a striped monster or shawl, you can jump over to the Stockinette Zombies. Participate in their March and April shawl, or not shawl, stripes, S word, got confused. Their March and April striped knit-along. And I am Jenna, also known as Retro Lemon on Ravelry, Retro Lemon on Plurk and Twitter. My group is RetroLemonStudio.com. Well, that's the website. The podcast is just... the podcast is there. The group... the group on Ravelry is just Retro Lemon Studio. You can find me there. You can find the knit-alongs there. And I love seeing all the new faces around. So a big hello and thank you to all the new members. I hope to see you all there. Till next week. Bye.